So in the previous lecture, we talked about submissive and broodable femboys and the distinction between the two. So today's lecture, I will be discussing about the Catboy and the Twink. So what is a Catboy? So the Catboy is a hybrid between a human male, sapien, and which stands for male, and the genus Catus. I don't know what that means was about. Just the cat. So it's a hybrid between these two guys, and that's all there's to say about what they are exactly. It's basically guys with cat ears and cat tails. Sometimes act like cats. So now that we're armed with definition, let's dive into its interconnectedness with furry culture and yaoi, which is boys love. So the hybrid between Homo sapien and the genus Catus is very, very common in the world of yaoi, or boys love. Very common actually. But they stem from the modification of the gender of the Homo sapiens. They stem from the female version of this genus. So the origins of the Catboy lies within the cat girls, which are predominant in anime. And so, yep, the Catboy is inspired by the cat girl, the female version of the hybrid between the Homo sapien and genus Catus. As with the origin of the femboys, the Homo sapien genus Catus hybrids originated from anime, as I said. The Catboy is a recurring type of male in the deep world of yaoi, which I will discuss in some other lecture. Some Catboys are submissive, plus others are dominant. However, dominant Catboys are rare to find. The majority of Catboys are envisioned as wearing a maid outfit. So we can see most of them in maid outfits. But I will discuss maid outfits in a preceding lecture and in Appearance Engineering 1, which I will be the lecturer for. And so, now that we have talked about its interconnectedness with yaoi, let's talk about the furry fandom. Let's talk about the furry fandom. I'm no furry, but these guys are very common in the furry fandom. Most predominantly because cats are a form of animal. They are animals. And so furries, as we've come to know them, anthropomorphize these things, or animals. They give animals human qualities like walking upright, wearing clothes, speaking our language, and copulating like we do. But anyway, yes, so we can see the Catboy frequently with furries, as well as femboys. The femboy fox, the femboy cat, the femboy dragon, common in the furry community. So now that we have discussed about the Catboy, let's talk about the Twink. I won't go into much detail on what this thing is, so I'll just give you the basic definition. A twink is described as a homosexual male who has a petite body structure, slim in other words. A percentage of twinks become what we came to know as the femboy. They become that. A percentage of them become that. I'm one of these. Like catboys and femboys, the twink can be submissive or dominant. At this point, I need to state to you guys that any given specimen does not only dwell in one of the two extremes. The behavioral pattern of some individuals may be a mix between submissive and dominant. Well, in rare cases, the behavior may oscillate between submissive and dominant. So, if we were to graph the dynamic interval, dynamic in detail would be discussed in, sorry for the noise, will be discussed in detail in chapter for questions. If we graph out the dynamic, there are some cases wherein they oscillate, where they have a periodic type of functions that describes their dynamics. So if we let this limit supreme be the dominance and this limit supreme be the submissive, it can oscillate between these two extremes. But those are rare cases. Most cases are like step functions. So anyway, so I won't talk about them much, but the twink, I just need to state that twink is a rare type of male in explicit material. I'm not gonna be discussing in depth. I can only say that the twink is often seen in those materials. So now let's rigorize them and suppose that C is the catboy set and T is the twink set. Now there exists a bussy set. So of course, since these two are sets and they share the common quality or attribute of being both male in nature, then there exists as an element A, wherein A is an element of C and T, and so this implies that A is part of the intersection between these two, and so there exists a bussy set wherein A. So it can only imply it's over there. If and only if this statement is only true if these guys are true. Okay, so A is an element of the bussy set between C and T. Alright? So we denote that using brackets over there to denote which sets we're making or constructing a bussy set for. So there are three proofs that are proofs on how to do this or how to prove this statement. Now, three proofs that I made on how to prove this theorem that they have a bussy set. Okay, so the first, if we let A denote a quality, for instance, adorableness, both the Twink and Catboy share the quality of being adorable. Thus, A is an element of C and A is an element of T, and so from there A is an element of the intersection between C and T, and so from there, from the definition of a bussy set exists. That's what I stated a while ago. Quod erat demonstrandum, or just write a box there to finish the proof. Another proof is through the quality of submissiveness. These guys can both be submissive at times. So if we let S sit, S is an element of C, and S is an element of T, and so S is an element of the intersection between S and T. Oh no, C and T, not S. And so, from here, the definition of a bussy set, they have a bussy set. Quod erat demonstrandum. Okay, now the third one is a bit complex. So, the third proof is that if we show that both are subsets of another set, there's certainly a bussy set, not only between the two, but with also that third set. So if we let Y be the Yaoi set, we can say that through the fact that catboys and twinks are prevalent in Yaoi, C is a proper subset of Y. C is part of Y, C is a subset of Y, and T is also a subset of Y. Not that Y, capital Y, but small y. Capital Y. And so C and P is a subset. From here we can say that C and T are subsets of the intersection of Y with itself. You can construct a bussy set for one set, actually, if we take its intersection with itself, so things that it shares with itself. And so there exists an M. There exists an M such that M is an element of both these guys. And since M is an element of both these guys, M is an element of Y as well through the fact M is element of Y through the fact that M is an element of the intersection between T, C, and Y. T, C, and Y. And from there, you can finish the proof by saying that T intersection C intersection Y defines the bussy set of these three guys. T, C, Y. And so, there, we've just proven it through the definition of a bussy set here. So M, part of the intersection, and so since M is part of both of these guys, it's certainly part of M, since these guys are subsets of M, and thus if we were to make an intersection between these guys, M would certainly be part of that intersection. And so from there we can say that there exists a bussy set between these three sets which contain M. And so that ends the proof. Square quadrant demonstratum. And so that ends our lecture for today. So to conclude the lecture, I just want to state that the bussy set of YTC defines Y. It's exactly Y through the fact that T and C are part or subsets of Y. These fundamental box that. So that ends our lecture for today. So for the next lecture, I will be discussing about the fundamental theorem of femboyology and the proof for it, so that you guys don't like lash out on me and say, oh, we don't have a proof, it's a theorem, don't have a proof. So of course I'm gonna provide a proof so you guys can think it's a theorem and not a proposition. So that's for the next lecture. The lecture after that, I will be discussing about measures of homosexual tendencies. It's gonna involve some mapping functions and all that, and some statistics. Certainly gonna involve the axiom of the bussy set. Certainly gonna have that, and piecewise functions. So yeah, we're just gonna define in a rigorous manner homosexual tendencies and types of homosexual people, right? So that's for that next lecture. After that, we're gonna discuss a brief study into femboical apparel. So it's like a small, that lecture, which will be our 9th lecture, will be a short introduction into appearance engineering. And once again, I'll tell you guys now, LOSC is hiring professors. If you guys think you're qualified enough to teach in our institute, we're open to positions. We need more teachers. And if you guys are capable of teaching or have teaching experience, you will almost certainly be accepted. So as that, if you guys wish to enroll in my class, just make sure to send, it's as simple as sending a work or answer or your work for any of the questions listed in the course syllabus. So anyways, that's it for this lecture, and I'll see you guys in the next one.